She said she valued honesty above everything, so I told her the truth about my past to see if she'd leave. The detective slid the restraining order across the table, and I read my own address, listed as the place I was now legally barred from entering. My apartment, my home of 6 years. The place where all my belongings still sat, including the laptop with 3 years of freelance design work, and the external hard drive with my backup files. Quote, I said, my voice sounding distant and strange. Quote 1. Detective Nina Carver, 15 years with the domestic violence unit according to the credentials she'd shown me, gave me the look I'd seen 1,000 times before. The look that said she'd heard every excuse, every justification, every denial. Mr. Reeves, your girlfriend filed a report this morning claiming you threatened her life. She has documentation of your criminal history, text messages that she says contain veiled threats, and a witness who heard you make statements about harming her. The judge issued this emergency protective order based on the totality of circumstances. You're lucky you're not in custody right now. I'd been living a quiet life in Portland for 8 years when I met Lydia Ashford at a community art show in the Pearl District. I was there showing some of my graphic design work, freelance stuff I did for local businesses, nothing fancy but enough to pay bills and keep me stable. She'd approached my booth with this huge smile, asking intelligent questions about my process, about the symbolism in a poster series I'd done for a nonprofit. She was wearing a cream-colored dress and had her dark hair pulled back in a way that made her look both professional and approachable. We talked for an hour, completely ignoring the other people trying to view my work, and when she asked if I wanted to get coffee sometime, I said yes before I could overthink it. That was 5 months ago. 5 months of what I'd thought was the healthiest relationship I'd ever had. Lydia worked in nonprofit administration, managing grants for an organization that supported domestic violence survivors. She talked constantly about the importance of healthy relationships, about communication and boundaries and honesty. Quote, she'd said on our third date, looking at me with those intense green eyes. I can forgive almost anything if someone is honest with me. It's the lies that destroy trust, that make relationships impossible. I'd rather hear a difficult truth than live with a comfortable lie. I'd nodded, thinking about the truth I wasn't telling her. The truth that sat in my past like a landmine I'd been carefully stepping around for 8 years. At the time, I told myself I'd tell her eventually, when things got more serious, when I knew she really cared about me, when I was sure she'd understand. The thing about having a criminal record is that you become an expert at strategic omission. You learn which questions to deflect, which conversations to redirect, which parts of your history to simply never mention. You become fluent in the language of careful editing, of telling true stories with all the dangerous parts removed. I'd gotten good at it over the years, good enough that most people never suspected there were gaps in my narrative. But with Lydia, the omissions felt heavier. She talked about honesty like it was a religion, like transparency was the foundation of everything good, and I was sitting across from her at dinners and coffee shops and her apartment, nodding along while hiding the biggest truth about myself. Not because I wanted to lie, but because I knew what happened when people found out. I'd lost jobs, friendships, relationships. I'd watched people's faces change the moment they learned, watched them mentally recalculate everything they thought they knew about me. 3 months into our relationship, Lydia invited me to her apartment for dinner. She'd cooked this elaborate meal, set the table with candles and wine, and halfway through dessert she reached across the table and took my hand. I love you, she said. Simple, direct, no hesitation. I know it's fast, but I'm sure. I love who you are, how you make me feel, the life I can see us building together, and I need you to know that you can tell me anything. Anything at all. I meant what I said about honesty. There's nothing you could tell me that would make me stop loving you, as long as you're honest with me. The wine tasted sour suddenly. My throat felt tight. I love you too, I said, and I meant it. But there's something I need to tell you. Something about my past that I should have mentioned before now. To see the full story, click the link below or go on my channel.